Okay, boys and girls, here's what I'm doing today. I've been planning the drywall installation. I've got this drywall hoist that's in that brown box. The last few things I need to do, I need to take that down, and I was thinking I was gonna rip it down, but it might, throw me down while I'm on the ladder, because you really need someone holding it up while you unscrew it. But then I thought, why don't I just assemble the drywall hoist and have it hold it when I unscrew it, and it'll just drop right into it. It won't have to fall on me at all. So the other thing that I've been thinking about is, if you take a look at the way those hurricane ties sort of go up into the slats that I've cut for this little piece of Luan, I don't want to do that exactly for the drywall. The drywall is going to be a bit thicker too, so it's going to be kind of hard to get it in the corners and decide, where is it going to screw to. So basically what I've decided is I'm going to cut, like I just did right here, these little sorts of holes in the slats on the end of the roof. I guess you'd call it the ceiling in this case. And I'm going to screw in some 2x4s. So that way, what's going to happen is, you see that one, that's not a ridge pole, I'm not sure what that's called, but that 2x4 is right there. I want to put another one right there so that the pieces that go across have multiple things to screw into, and then maybe even another one long ways so that the edges have something to screw into. So I got 4 96-inch 2x4s today, and I don't know if that'll be enough, but I'll just go back to Lowe's for the 2000th time if not. So I'm going to put those up there, so that I'm going to put this side of the wall in first, the drywall, and then I'm going to do this side. And I'm going to need something really close to the edge, but not all the way to that last roof rafter to screw into. So I figured if I put one right here and one right here going across these little slats, then I'll be able to screw in at pretty much any spot along the ceiling with the drywall, and I'll still get it in nice and solid. So I'm going to do that right there. Then I'm going to put the 2 of them right there, and then I might do some extra diagonal about right there. Maybe about a ½ foot off of the roof rafter that's on the edge there, just so that I have something to screw into right along the edges. And I'll just have to do some angled cuts to make sure that that sticks up there well. But that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be doing that. I finished labeling all of the outlets. So for instance, I've taken all of these outlets out, so I've labeled the wires inside, so I know exactly where everything's going. And I might just pull those labels off once I hook everything up, since I'm not sure if that's fire code safe or not. I'm really just trying to get to the point where I can do the drywall. So this is the next step. This is something I haven't really wanted to do. I haven't wanted to cut. It's really hard to get up on this ladder and use a razor and cut one piece of 3/4 inch thick foam at a time. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to do it on that side too, then I'll take this thing down, and hopefully I can come up with some sort of project for that Luan. If not, I'm just going to end up putting it in the shed that's next to this house and hoping that the family who's letting us graciously borrow their driveway can find some use for it. If not, maybe I'll just throw it away or recycle it, who knows. Oh, and then the other thing is, I've been really worried about this area up here. So you can see that there's the roof slat, and then you can see the plywood of the roof right there, and I don't know if I can get this over far enough. So this back here, I need to decide how I'm going to get a wall stuck to that, and then I also need to figure out what to do right here, because that actually goes straight to the outside, so I need to block that off somehow. And amazingly enough, no birds have come in through that hole, no wasps have come in through that hole. Same thing on the other side, they're coming over there, so they try to come in through the door handle, but they don't come in through all these holes. There's another hole down here that I'm going to try to actually block this off today too. And it's interesting that they'll come in through certain holes, but not other ones. The other thing I'm going to do today is, I have a lot of plywood in the shed. So I'm going to cut a piece that will go completely across this. You can see those 2x10 cross members, and I'm going to cover that completely so they won't have to have that stack of insulation anymore. So it'll be completely blocked off to the outside. I'll put a bunch of liquid nails down to seal the seams and everything. This will be closed off, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of this raised section. So I will be cutting a piece of plywood to cover that. That black bit right there is the wheel well, so it'll be covering that up as well. That is about it for today. My main goal is really to just get these cross members up in here, and I don't think I need to do any up there because I'll be able to screw on right to the edge there. But I might put 1 or 2 up there just to make my life easier. I really don't want to get to the drywall and then have a really tough time doing it and wish that I did things. I'd rather do overkill now. And I'm already sweating. It feels great. I'm just gonna go for it. That's what I'm doing today. And check it out. Got this thing assembled. It is huge. I don't think it's gonna be a problem to get it in this living room area to get the piece above the porch roof. but I have to back up just so you can see how huge this thing is, dwarfing that room. So it was pretty easy. It was only about 4 pieces that I had to put together. I tried to read the instructions, but couldn't figure them out, so I just looked at the picture and put it all together. So it's really nice because when you crank this thing, it pulls that metal cable and lifts this bit up. It's just locked instantly, and this is the brake release. So you release that and hang onto the handle, and then it'll drop back down. So I'm gonna use that to get that thing down right now so that I can do these little 2x4 adjustments on the other side. Here we go. Hey, it's me again. Figured you guys might want to see this process. So here it is, the drywall hoist. And what I've done is I raised it up so that those 2 clamps right there were right on the end, really more hooks, not clamps, right on the bottom of that piece of Luan. And then I just unscrewed one at a time all the screws that were screwed into it. And after I got it attached and lowered a little bit, I went ahead and took that guy out and then made it a little more flat so that I could sort of get it over this temporary roof for the porch right here, which is just a piece of insulation. And now I'm gonna get the step ladder and I'm gonna make it completely flat. I don't know if you can tell, there's one more hole that can have that lock nut inserted into a lock bar. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna lower it down slowly until I can sort of slide it off. And I'm not quite sure which way I'm gonna slide it off, but I'll figure it out. I might have to turn it around a little bit. It's really hot today. I think it's like 106 in Texas today. If you want to get one of these things, it's totally worth it. It's got a little brake on here, which is nice. So you release that handle, pull it up, and then it'll undo the brake. And then it's got a lovely handle that's attached to the wheel here that makes it really easy to raise it up and down, and it's incredibly sturdy. So I'm really looking forward to using this when I put the drywall up. This is going to be a huge, huge help so I can get things lined up and screwed in just the way I want it to be. So I'm going to get this thing down and out of here, and man, it's a mess. I gotta say, before I do drywall, I'm gonna need to get all of this mess out of here because you need as much space as possible to move this thing around on the ground. You can see it's almost taken up the entire room in here. But it fits, so it can be done with a tiny house. Don't think it can't be done. All right, I'm getting back to work. Okay, I finally finished what I set out to do on this side of the house. It is so hot. I am so exhausted. I'm completely drenched from head to toe, so I'm probably gonna go jump in the pool before I leave here. It is killer hot. I'm so glad to have a standing seam roof and Reflectix and the insulation that's in the ceiling and the walls, because I wouldn't be able to do this if that weren't the case at this point. So here's my masterpiece. 2 cross members going through the right side, which is the driver's side of the house, along with that 1 cross member right there. There's 2 cross members on that side. There's a little bit of space below that one, so I'm gonna do some spray foam to get that nice and sealed. I've got that cross member. That's not really a cross member, but whatever, that vertical thing. I'm gonna do another vertical one right there, and another vertical one right there. So I will have 3 points to screw in on each side. 2 more pieces, and then I am done with this. Oh my god, it's so hot. So I'll be done with that, and then I'm gonna go over there to the loft area. I'm gonna figure out how to fix that little situation right there. I'm also gonna load that up with Reflectix, so get that, you know, get a good view of that. Remember what it looks like. I'm gonna load that up with Reflectix and insulation, just get this thing done. This thing is so close. You know what I'm just thinking about right now? Those 2 headers in the wall. There's gonna be a mini split AC right there. 9,000 BTU, more than enough for this area. It's gonna be so great and nice and cool. And the other cool thing is I looked at the specs on this EcoTemp water heater, and I think it said it can heat a max of 2.5 gallons per minute with a something degree increase in what the water temperature is, and then 1.8 gallons or something like that per minute with an even higher degree raise in temperature. And the shower head that I got does 2 gallons per minute, so it's right in the middle of that. So this thing should have no problem heating up the water for however long of a shower we decide to take. Sometimes you need a long shower, you know? And here's the mess. Here's all the insulation that I moved over here, and the Reflectix, and the box for the drywall hoist. I'm gonna see if I can fold that thing up and put it in a corner because it's taking up a lot of room right now. But I'm gonna finish up, and I'll be back to you with some updates on this upper wall on the back end of the house.